Hi, Peg.
How are you?
Good. We have Dana joining in a bit later today, and while we're waiting for others, you know, uh, uh, is there any updates or anything interesting on IGD that you'd like to share?
Actually, yeah. Um, so if you could turn on sharing, I'll just show the updates I've shown you, Meenakshi. How does that sound?
Yeah, that sounds great. I just turned it on. Are you able to share?
Yeah, let me look. Okay, so I will be testing as we look at this. I'm going to do a hard refresh just to see. Okay, some developments. There have been requests in the past to make it easier to find and scan participating organizations. So this year we have included participating organizations on the pre-giving phase of the website, which we turned on about a week ago. And they are broken down by categories in which people work. Others is people who either cross over a number of areas or are in an area that is not got its own bucket. Um, but anyhow, we're really thrilled. And then it gives a brief overview of the organization and then clicks through to the organization. So we're really pleased to be able to offer that. We also, I'm going to see if it's fed yet. It is not. This video has been modified to include, you see now it's a 2-minute video. We now have a 4-minute video that in the middle of this introduces each participating organization. And we draw from the taglines that you uploaded onto the Jot form. So the video that that will go up anytime now will talk about India Giving Day in general, and then touch on each organization, Akanksha, bringing education to whoever, and then just list each participating organization. We're also, I'll do a very quick look at Facebook. Dang it. Hopefully that's accurate. Um, oh well, sorry. Um, yeah, that's too bad. But anyhow, if you go to IPA's Facebook page or any of our social media, our target this year is to feature every organization on our social media channels twice. The first posts have already been developed and they're being rolled out. They are welcome messages. If you're a first-time participant, it says, "Welcome to this organization, they do this." If you are returning, it's like, "Welcome back, so-and-so, you do this." Basically, we're really trying to up every organization's prominence, both on our website and on social media. So we're really pleased, hope you're really pleased, and for newcomers, thrilled to have you. And so glad to be able to show your great work to the world. That's it. Thanks, Meenakshi.
Thanks so much, Peg. And we should probably have done this when the call started, but nevertheless, I'll go ahead and do it now. I'm seeing a few new faces, so I just want to introduce myself and Peg again. I'm Meenakshi Mahajan, and I'm CEO of India Philanthropy Alliance and India Giving Day campaign, and I'll be the main liaison for IGD for nonprofit organizations this year. Peg.
Hi, my name is Peg Foray. I'm the Deputy Director of IPA and India Giving Day. Um, I used to do a lot of this myself. I'm thrilled to have Meenakshi step in so we can both flesh things out. I'm focusing on marketing, which is one of the ways we can add all those features. And Meenakshi is doing a beautiful job of interacting with participating organizations and expanding what she's done in the past to vet organizations and bring them on. So we're settling into new roles. It feels great. Thanks.
Thank you, Peg. So I'm going to go ahead and start the training session for today. I will be screen sharing with you. And hold on one sec. Yeah, and I
Meenakshi?
hope, yeah.
Hi, sorry, this is Preeti. I had a quick question for Peg. Is it okay if I ask her now, or should I wait till the
Yeah,
end of
go
this
ahead and
session?
ask her. I'm assuming this is to do with the content she's already covered.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Hi, Peg. Sorry, I was a minute late, so I sort of joined midway through what you were presenting. But you talked about a consolidated video that sort of highlights each or participating organization, right? We have not uploaded our video yet. We're in the process of creating one that sort of speaks specifically to this. In that, so to the extent that they're not present, like our organization video has not yet been uploaded on our profile page, what are you guys doing?
So two separate things, but a great question. The video I referred to, all the content was created by our ad agency. And so if your tagline was uploaded, they would have used that to introduce you. The videos, there's still time to upload it. Please flag me when you do that, because the way they will use that is in a social media post featuring your organization. It's not guaranteed, but it's one of the resources they'll draw from.
Thank you. Thanks.
Peg, you mean to upload it to send it to you. You don't mean just uploading it on our page, correct? It was that survey form that you wanted us to submit, because you're not
Yeah,
going to pull them from pages. You're just going to
no,
take it from submitting to that. I just wanted to clarify that.
yeah,
Oh,
thank you.
actually, that's a good thing, Chris. So, sorry, I assumed that it was uploading it onto our profile page. So, is
Which
there
you
a
can
survey
do
that
as
I
well, but
missed?
that's not where they're getting it from.
Yeah, yeah. So, what is this survey form? Sorry, I probably missed it or I overlooked it.
So I'm trying to think of how we titled why don't I do this? I will find the email that went out and put the date in the chat and the subject, and then Meenakshi can start with the training, and meanwhile you can copy that for later and find the email.
Thank you. Thanks, Becky.
That would be great, because I don't remember that email. I don't remember sending any creative to you.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, great.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
pretty
you.
sure it was a Google form,
No,
right, that we submit. It wasn't
actually,
Google.
Jot form.
Okay.
I love Jotform. I would advertise for them if I could. If you're a Google Forms people, you might want to have a peek, because
Okay.
love it so much more.
All right. Should we start now?
Yeah.
So the topic for today is peer-to-peer fundraising campaign, and I know this is something many of you have been waiting for. And I'm sharing side by side both a PPT that we have, which and on the right hand side is the website, so we can go through the menu itself, and I can show you where the resources on our website are. So if you look at the website and you click on the menu on the right hand side, you will see that we've added peer-to-peer fundraising right on the menu itself to make it easy for all of you to access that. We will also be making some more changes to this and adding on how to for individuals. Currently, the page that we've shared with you all, peer-to-peer fundraising, really looks at providing information to organizations to help them create their own peer-to-peer fundraising campaigns. We are also envisioning that there might be some people, young people, others who come onto the website who might not be affiliated to any organization and who would like to, start a peer-to-peer fundraising campaign. So we'll be putting up a page catering to such people who are new to the campaign and new to organizations as well. And this will be up sometime next week. So make sure to check up by end of next week to see what we have up there. As I mentioned, it's on our website under peer-to-peer fundraising. It's also in the nonprofit toolkit. So if you click on nonprofit toolkit, and you scroll down to next steps, you will see peer-to-peer fundraisers over here. And the same page is the one we've shared onto our website, onto the main menu as well. So going back to the presentation, why peer-to-peer fundraising? So last year we found that, and Peg did a lot of this analysis work last year, we found that peer-to-peer fundraising raised almost 4 times, 3.5 times more than those organizations that did not do fundraising, peer-to-peer fundraising. So there are many benefits of peer-to-peer fundraising. For example, it really helps to expand your donor base because you're asking your core supporter base to go and reach out to their networks, and they are becoming familiar with your organization. They might not have heard of you before. So it's bringing, expanding your donor base, bringing recognition and familiarity to your brand, your organization. It also helps to get you new donors. It's a great way of getting new donors. The donations might be small, but you have those names on your mailing list, and you can reach out to them during the course of the year and develop a relationship through that stewardship. It's a fun and exciting way for your supporters to engage, especially young supporters. So for youth to reach out to their friends and raise donations on your behalf, as well as create visibility for your organization. So that's again, peer-to-peer fundraising is awesome for that. Moving on, what are we going to cover during today's session? So what I'm really looking at is, sharing with you how to set up peer-to-peer fundraising campaigns, fundraisers on your profile page. Secondly, we'll be looking at resources and toolkits on IGD website for P2P fundraising, and I've already shown you a couple of these where it's lodged on the main menu. I'll be going through a P2P checklist that I've developed, and these looks at some of the main things that you might want to consider and check off when you're developing your campaign. I've also developed a suggested timeline, and again, this is a mock-up, but it gives you a starting point that you can customize for your own needs. And finally, we'll come to the most, which I feel is the exciting part, questions and group discussion, where we can take any questions that you might have, as well as give you the opportunity to share your experiences, for those who've participated in IGD previously. So moving on, setting up peer-to-peer fundraisers on your profile page. You want to start with thinking about who do you want to invite to be your fundraisers. And while you can send out fundraising invites to all of your database, you also might consider being a bit more targeted if you have a very big database, and you could think of your top 100 supporters. And these don't have to be your top 100 donors, but rather your top supporters. So they can be donors giving at any level, low, medium, high, but they should be people who are really engaged with their organization, who are motivated to reach out to their friends and family and advocate for you and raise donations for you. So they can include your board of directors, volunteers, donors, staff, friends and family, anyone who you see is really engaged with your organization and mission. Setting up the fundraiser. So what you can do is go to your page and fundraising, go to your page. So I'm going to just click on now we have all the organizations on our home page. So I'm just going to click on Aarti for Girls. And you see there's a button here, fundraise button. And if you click on this, anyone can go to your page and set up a fundraiser. You enter your first, last name, the campaign name, email, password, and submit, and create a fundraiser. What happens when you submit when you submit a fundraiser? You get the person who's submitting a fundraiser or applying to a fundraiser for your organization gets an email from GiveGap. Let me gets an email from GiveGap, and I'm going to go on to the PPT to show you what that email looks like. So looking at the PPT here, you can see that I've submitted this form, and I've done this for India Philanthropy Alliance. And this is the fundraiser I created through India Philanthropy Alliance. IP is not participating on the platform for fundraising, but what we've done is we've just created our page so that we can show you how you can do peer-to-peer fundraisers, as well as create your profile page through the IP as a sample. You see that the IPA profile, fundraiser profile, has a brief description from the fundraiser or the fundraiser story on top. Moving on, the name of the fundraiser that I gave it is Together for India, is a fundraiser for IPA, and the donate button is right under that.
Meenakshi, is there a way to make that larger?
Bigger?
I
Okay.
can't seem to see.
Yeah, and
see
that's
it very
probably,
clearly.
let me actually try this. Okay, so I'm going to take you to the IPA page. Preeti, is this better?
Thank you. Yes.
So I'm going from the admin side, and I'm going to click on the IPA view your profile. This will give you a larger view. So what I did was, for IPA, I clicked on the fundraise button, and that brought me to this form. And this is anyone who can come to your website and create this fundraiser. They submit all this information, and they will receive an email from GiveGap. Let me show you what the email looks like. Hold on a sec. So this is what the email looks like. Welcome to India Giving Day. Hi, Ashna, you just signed up to be a fundraising champion for IGD. And then there's the message, which is a standard message going out from GiveGap to all fundraisers. Peer-to-peer fundraisers are usually, the participation is usually a lot from young people. So which is why you'll see the message is you rock. As a fundraising champion, you have the potential to make a huge impact. So it's a message which is geared towards a younger audience. What this email essentially does is shares a few links with you. The first link is it shares is the fundraising link, and this is the fundraising link that Ashna Mehta can share with all her friends and family, anyone she wants to invite to give on her peer-to-peer fundraising page. The second link that it shares with you is visit your fundraising dashboard. And we'll look at this shortly, but I want to also show you the other two links. It also shares peer-to-peer fundraising on GiveGap, which has resources, GiveGap resources. And these are in addition to the customized resources that India Giving Day is sharing with you. And finally, customer success headquarters as well. So when I click on that, let me go back. When I click on visit your fundraising dashboard link, this is what I see. And I want to show you how this looks like live. So I'm again going to go to the GiveGap site. And if any of you are not able to see this clearly, let me know. So when I click on that link, this is where I come. And I click on tell your story. Here's my campaign, Together for India, I can select and upload an image over here. You may or may not want to do this because most organizations already have curated pictures, videos, etc. on their page, and your fundraisers may not need to share all of that information. However, what they would want to share is their story. So for example, if your fundraiser, peer-to-peer fundraiser has a particular reason that they got engaged with the organization and that they're raising funds for you, they should share that story in Tell Your Story, and that would come on top of the other content which is on your website. So let me show you how that might look like. But first, let's go back. So under Tell Your Story is make a donation, and this dashboard gives you all the information. Once the giving starts, it will give you all the information as to how much of the goal you've raised, how many donors you have, how many emails you've sent, etc. Make a donation is not currently live, so which is why you see this message. And finally, you have share socially. And this gives you a short URL that you can share. And if I click on Facebook, actually, let me show you through the PPT because I'm not currently signed into Facebook. So let me show you through the PPT what that looks like. So if I was to click on that Facebook link, I'll get something like this. And I can add a message here, again, something about my story. Why am I raising funds for IPA, and what's my story, and inviting my friends to give to my peer-to-peer fundraising campaign. So all of this makes it really easy. We have a lot of resources here that make it very easy for your peer-to-peer fundraisers. Going back to the admin side, let's look at so what I've done, let's look at the IPA page again. What I've done is I've added 2 fundraisers, and you can see those from here itself. And this admin side also gives you the capability of messaging each of your fundraisers. You have the capability of messaging all of them through this button. Editing a fundraiser is also possible from here. You see here a space for setting fundraiser story. So while fundraisers can set up their own story, what might be helpful for your fundraisers is if you provide them with some sort of guidance. It'll just make it easier for them, if they have a starting point. So you could set up a sample fundraising story here, and ask your fundraisers to customize it depending on their own unique story. You could set up perhaps suggest a goal for them, which again they can edit depending on their own social need, depending on their own goals. And let's look at these other buttons here. So add fundraisers allows you to directly add fundraisers. Early on, what we looked at was, individuals going onto your website and adding fundraisers from your profile page. But here we are looking at adding fundraisers directly from the admin page. So if I click on this button, I can add fundraisers here. I can then click on next and compose a message for the fundraisers. And if I want to upload multiple fundraisers, I can do that through here.
I'm sorry, I don't understand. What fundraisers are you adding in? I thought the peer-to-peers they don't automatically populate there?
They automatically populate if they are adding themselves, Deb, from the front end of the website. And this is another option for an admin. For example, Deb, you have reached out via a phone call to 5 people, and they agree to be fundraisers for you. And what you can do is directly add them from your administrator's page.
Oh, I'm
It
sorry.
sends
Got
them
it. Got it.
and it sends them an invite, basically. Like it does set up the fundraiser for them, but then it does send them your message and with information about going in there.
Okay.
That's why like that option is good for people like your board or your advisory council or people who you can count on. You wouldn't
Got it.
want to send that to like a vast number of people because it will literally set up their fundraiser. And then they can
Okay.
go in and customize it and share it themselves.
Got it. Got it. Okay. Sorry, I was missing something. Thank you. I'm on my first coffee. Forgive me. I'm in California. Yeah.
No worries, no worries. And thanks, Chris. Thanks for that explanation. So yeah, so there are 2 ways. One is that they directly add themselves, and the second way is that if you have, reached out to any specific fundraisers, you have commitments from them that they're willing to fundraise on your behalf, then you can directly add them from the administrator's side. And once that message goes out to them, they can go onto their dashboard and they can edit their story, their information, etc., from the dashboard itself. So I'm just going to pause here for a minute. Does anyone else have any questions on the content we've covered till now?
So the set fundraiser story, does that go out to everybody, or that's just something that you just share with your peer-to-peer, or that bottom portion? I don't remember seeing that last time.
Okay, and I'm assuming this probably when someone is setting a fundraiser, this probably comes up on their website and they're able to edit it through their dashboard. Has anyone had experience with this before? Chris, have you tried it?
What I think is good with that, first of all, you should absolutely encourage fundraisers to personalize that because that's what's going to appeal to the people they're going to be sharing their fundraiser with. I think it is good to add a sentence or two and just say, this is an organization I care a lot about. I encourage you to support it, something kind of generic, but then encourage them so that there's something there, but then encourage them to go in and customize and personalize that because I just think it's so much more meaningful to the people who are going to see it because that's the person they know and they want to see like, well, why do you care about this organization? What's your involvement? What have you been doing with them? So I think what I tend to do is like add a generic couple of sentences, but then really encourage people to personalize it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
If I may,
Yeah.
I agree with Chris and Meenakshi about, giving them something to work with. But because some people will just say, good enough, boom, I might consider putting list your personal story here in parentheses or something that forces the issue a bit for them to customize.
Do you think they definitely will, or they might just sort of not even notice that and it goes out with that, which is not good?
It could. It could.
It could. And what I would say is that this just brings us to the idea that if you are doing peer-to-peer fundraising, you really want to stay connected with your fundraisers. You don't want to just give them the ball and run indefinitely. And we are going to come to some of these, some of these things, and they're on the checklist. What do you need to do to maintain direction of your peer-to-peer fundraising campaign? I won't say control because you want the fundraiser to be in control, but just so that everyone is on the same page and you're running a strong campaign, you want to have frequent check-ins, etc. And this is something we are going to cover on later on in the training. So
One more
moving,
question.
yeah,
Your
go ahead.
fundraising, the Facebook page that you created, saying you've shared your link onto your personalized Facebook.
Right.
So when new people who are looking at that link, where does that direct them to? Does that direct them to the current page that they're supporting, or does it direct them to their personalized page, or does it direct them to like the homepage or the organization? Where does that lead them?
That would direct them to their personalized page because you're creating it through your own personal peer-to-peer fundraising dashboard.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay, so before we move on, I just want to make sure that we've covered everything. So yeah, again, taking a look at the IPA page, organization page, as I scroll down on my main profile page, I will see the fundraisers that have been created for IPA. And when I click on this one, this brings me to the fundraiser created by Ashna Mehta and that's again all a mock-up it's called Together for India. We just saw this earlier, and she's written a short story why she's doing this fundraising. And the reason I said that your fundraisers may not want to put too much content of their own content through their dashboard is because already a lot of information has been put by your organization, which has been curated, and with their personal message, their friends and family who they're inviting to the fundraiser can quickly look at the organization's information, any videos and other things that have been uploaded by you all. So this is how it will look on the front end. Moving on, we did take a look at some of the resources and tools on the IGD website for P2P fundraising. I showed you on the menu, you can access the peer-to-peer fundraising resources directly through here. Who are your potential fundraisers? How does it work? And this is very similar. This is basically what Bonterra has given how a fundraiser works. You can also look at the PowerPoint, which we've created, and that will be uploaded on our website on the training page. So you'll be able to look at that specifically because it's curated for IGD purposes. When you scroll to the very bottom, you see the resources from Bonterra on the left-hand side, and on the right-hand side, you see the templates that we've created, which are very IGD specific. Moving on, there's an excellent post that Peg has written, and right now it's not on India Giving Day website, but we are planning on putting it there. So I clicked on that. Are you able to see it?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So this gives a lot of really good, strategies, guide. You can think of it as a guide for peer-to-peer fundraising. One of the things it says is start early, either in Jan or in Feb. I think this is a very, very good time to start if you're intending on creating peer-to-peer fundraisers. It gives you some of the success stories from last year. Heart to Heart was one of the organizations that created 74 a lot of peer-to-peer fundraisers. There were 74 volunteer fundraisers, which generated 400 gifts during the course of the campaign. It talks about setting clear goals and objectives. You want to make sure that you are setting a very realistic and attainable goal that's both motivating, but is not unattainable and discouraging for your fundraisers. Encourage your most enthusiastic supporters, and we've already spoken a bit about this. It doesn't have to be your largest donors. It has to be people who are very, very motivated by your mission and are willing to spend the time to advocate and fundraise on your organization's behalf. It talks about messaging that we are providing you. So when you have a moment, do take time to go through this post. I'm also gonna just put the link in the, actually the link is in the PPT and you'll be able to access the PPT through our website. Next, I wanna look at content templates for engaging your supporters in peer-to-peer fundraising.
Can I ask one question before you move forward?
Yeah.
So, and maybe someone who did this last year can, so you were saying like now would be a good time to reach out to see who would be interested in doing this, but they really can't start fundraising till March 1st, correct? So this would just
That's
be
right. And
prep
Deb,
time.
I'm gonna cover that in one of the upcoming slides. So,
Oh,
and
okay,
anyone
sorry.
who's
Yep.
has that experience, can also share that at that point. So where was I? Let me,
Sorry.
Content templates. So, when you click on content templates, these are all messaging that has been curated for India Giving Day, and it will make it really easy for you to share this with your supporters and for them to reach out to their networks. Recruiting your organization's dedicated supporters. This is for you to send out to your top, volunteers, supporters, to invite them for or to gauge their interest in peer-to-peer fundraising for your organization. Encouraging social media engagement, fundraising, kickoff, party reminder, and we'll talk a little bit about this as well. Save the date reminder, day before promotional message, day of promotional message, and 12th hour status update, as well as final hour status update. We end with messaging that you can send out post event, thank you, which is again one of the most important things as part of your stewardship goals. So these are the resources and tools that are available from India Giving Day for you to create your peer-to-peer fundraising campaign. Moving on. So I want to take a few minutes to talk about peer-to-peer checklist that you might want to, and this is again something that I've generated, but each organization is unique and you have your unique needs and constraints. So feel free to develop your own checklist. This is just a sample to help you get started on yours. As we mentioned, start recruiting in Jan and early Feb. And we are going to go a little bit more into detail. I've created a mock, you could say, timeline to see why you need to start recruiting in Jan and early Feb, and how you can continue to engage even though early giving is happening on March 1st. Why does recruitments need to start happening right now? So we'll talk about that a bit later. Another checklist point is have a kickoff party, come onboarding, come training session by mid-Feb. So once you've done your recruitment, how do you energize your fundraisers? How do you train them? You want to probably make it fun for them so there's a lot of energy and enthusiasm amongst them to reach out to their networks. So, why not start off your peer-to-peer fundraising with a kickoff party? Email, call, and text your core supporters to recruit them. Include young people with families. Make sure to provide your fundraisers with the tools and messaging they need for their outreach. Make it super easy for them. They're going out and connecting with their network to fundraise on your behalf, to advocate for your organization. So just make it easy for them, share all resources, nudges, updates with them so that they're not thinking or working too hard to do this. The final checklist item is the most important one. Set up a regular meeting cadence, and this could mean different things for different organizations. One of you might want to meet with your peer-to-peer fundraisers on a weekly basis. One might want to meet once in 2 weeks. So whatever works for you, but do make sure that there's a regular meeting cadence where you're able to sort of share updates, problem solve, help guide them towards next steps, and just keep that energy and momentum flowing so that they are geared up to start fundraising on March 1st. Now we come on to a suggested timeline, and then we'll have the final questions and group discussion part of the session. So suggested timeline. A typical peer-to-peer fundraising campaign timeline usually spans 6 to 8 weeks. And this is recommended from those who've done peer-to-peer fundraising campaigns. This is the general wisdom on P2P fundraising. In the case of IGD, the campaign timeline might include key phases like pre-campaign preparation, which would be 2 to 3 weeks, campaign launch 1 week, active fundraising 2 weeks, final outreach and wrap up on March 14th, and post-campaign follow-up 1 week. Why are we suggesting a campaign timeline of 6 to 8 weeks? Because it takes time for you to identify and recruit your fundraisers, and that is something that you will want to do in the pre-campaign preparation phase. If you want to customize any of our existing P2P fundraising resources, again, the pre-campaign phase allows you to do that. Campaign launch time is a time when your fundraisers, you want to make sure that the page's P2P fundraising page is, fully updated with any information, their personal stories, and they're ready to launch on March 1st. So this suggested timeline gives you enough runway to make sure that everyone is ready with the messaging and the preparation, because they will need to sort of kick into high fundraising mode when early giving starts on March 1st. Peg, you wanted to add something?
Yeah, I think another reason to start early with peer-to-peer fundraising is it doesn't need to be just a digital campaign. There might be people in your network who say, yeah, I'll fundraise from my peers. And then they might want to have a gathering at their house or at a restaurant and invite people to jump onto their peer-to-peer fundraising page and donate then. So, giving people a chance to plan how they're going to raise money is a good idea.
Yeah, and that's an excellent point. You want to use peer-to-peer fundraising to also align with other activities that you're doing, whether it's events or anything else that you're doing offline as well. So moving on. Okay, that brings us to the end of this. But before, I also want to share mock timeline that I've developed. And this again, we'll upload, which gives you a little bit of idea as to what the different phases might look like. Are you able to see the Word document?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So the pre-campaign
Can you maximize it a bit, Meenakshi? Sorry, I'm not
Yeah.
able to see the words. Okay.
Is this better?
Yeah, thank you.
So again, this is a very quick mock-up plan I did just to give you an idea of what you might want to do during each phase. It sounds a big timeline that you're looking at 6 to 8 weeks, but you do need the runway time to identify and recruit fundraisers. So during the initial phase, you want to define your campaign goals. You might want to, also think about what is it that you're fundraising for. For example, instead of just generally fundraising for the whole organization, you might want to think about, do you want to fundraise for a specific project? Will that motivate your fundraisers, P2P fundraisers more? So all of that you can do during the initial period. Spread the word, recruit your fundraisers, identify, team leaders, board members, key supporters during this time. If you're having any, offline events, etc., this is the time to start talking to your supporter base. Which ones of them might want to participate in your fundraising, peer-to-peer fundraising. As I mentioned, this is also the time to customize the already available peer-to-peer fundraising materials on our website in case you feel the need to do so. Add your own compelling messaging, your stories, your narratives that resonate with your donors to that messaging. Train your fundraisers. Having a fundraising kickoff party or session is a great way to get them energized and show them how to use the platform, as well as how to leverage their own personal stories in connecting with their networks and raising funds. Personalized fundraising pages at this point. So this is all happening in the pre-campaign preparation phase. And the launch phase is where you can probably do a public announcement where your peer-to-peer fundraisers can send out email to their network saying, please save the date. This is what I'm planning to do, and I'll be reaching out to you for your support. So all of that can happen in the campaign launch phase. The initial outreach by your peer-to-peer fundraisers to their networks, to their friends and family, all that can happen right before March 1st. So their networks know that they'll be that their friend will be reaching out to them for donations at that time. The active fundraising phase really starts during early giving. So that's March 1st to March 14th. And this is the time you want to make sure that you're regularly meeting with your peer-to-peer fundraisers. You are, giving them updates. The meetings don't have to be long. They could be like 15, 20-minute check-ins, but it's very helpful to keep, problem solve and keep the whole momentum up and give them, regular updates, etc. on the campaign. Social media engagement, peer-to-peer outreach, any fundraising events that you want to do and align with your peer-to-peer fundraising campaign. So all of this is happening during the actual active fundraising period. Post-campaign, thank you messages and stewardship of the donors, peer-to-peer people who've donated to the campaigns happens during that time. Finally, flexibility. Be prepared to adapt your strategy based on campaign performance and feedback. So be flexible during the campaign. If you need to pivot, be flexible to do that as well. So I'll be sharing this resource through our website. So if anyone wants to look at it later on, it'll be there on the IGD training page. Now is the final part of our training session, and I'm going to open it up for questions as well as group discussion.
I have a bunch of questions. Thank you for this. I mean, it's a lot for a first-time participant. I am going to put that out there. But it's incredibly exciting, right? I mean, we're sort of in the phase where we've identified a couple of advocates who hopefully will sort of reach out to their own networks. But so my first question is, how do we make this, for lack of a better word, idiot-proof, right? And very little effort for the fundraisers themselves, right? I'd rather, right? So I don't mind doing all of the work. So to the extent that you said you could just add a fundraiser here and they'll receive a page at their end, which then they can sort of forward on. For the ones that have participated in the previous IGD sort of fundraising campaigns, how does one make this the least burdensome for fundraisers, right? Because we're looking at a diverse range of fundraisers, some who are very quick to sort of adapt it and sort of are very tech savvy, and certain others who aren't, right? Who just would rather take something you provide to them and go and speak to their people. That was the first question. And I have a follow-up question about offline peer-to-peer fundraising. And how do we sort of adopt this to, sorry, I'll just stop at the first question and then I can go into a
Peg,
little bit more detail about offline events.
Peg, you want to go ahead? I see.
Yeah, I just thought it's a good time to jump in and let you all know that the Youth Leadership Council, which is a group of about 12, 14 young people, high school, many of them, have trained in how to put up a peer-to-peer fundraiser. They have also trained in how to modify social media posts on Canva. Now they're young kids, but if you want to have volunteers, they're very eager to help. So in addition to, simplifying what Meenakshi covered today, she covered in great detail, which is wonderful. You know all the resources, and then you can kind of simplify. But want everybody to know, especially smaller organizations that are just getting going, that we have volunteers who are eager to help. Just let me know. And then, what I do is I put a notice out. Does anybody want to work with this organization? And I get hands flying. So side tangent, but related.
I would just say that the IGD platform and GiveGab and the whole setup itself makes it relatively easy. So if they need help getting their fundraisers set up, so if they want to send you language for their story, you can go in and update that or things like that. Once that's set up, they'll have a link, and then all they have to do, they can email that link, they can do social media posts. It's already sort of relatively easy for if people don't have a social media presence, they can do this all through email. And then the link in their email will take their people to their fundraiser. In terms of offline, the only thing I'll add is that there is an option for us to add offline gifts into the platform so that it is in there. Like, so if there's somebody who's going to be receiving offline gifts, a check or anything like that, there is an option for adding that. The easiest thing, of course, is if someone gives through the GiveGab, but there are options to reflect that you've received money by check or wire transfer or other things. And I think that'll probably come up in one of the other trainings, where to do that in the platform. But it's the fundraising, like, it's sort of relatively easy already for somebody to just share that link and communicate with their people.
I would ditto that, Preeti. It's super easy. The resources, there are so many resources out there. And, I would also suggest that unless you want to go into a lot of detail, look at the IGD resources before you look at the Bonterra resources, because we've customized it. And, Peg started developing this last year. I've built upon it this year. Peg has also recorded a video, which I can share on the web, somewhere on the peer-to-peer fundraising page as well. She did a training of young people how to set up fundraisers, which is geared at individuals setting up fundraisers. So, it's really, really simplified. The messaging is there, and young people are so tech savvy that I think it should be a no-brainer for them once they go out there and actually start doing it.
Yeah. So the question I had, and I think it came up, thank you for all of that. Incredibly useful, right? It sort of calms my nerves a little bit, just to sort of, I think the intent is to just use the add fundraisers option, right? Rather than the option that you first showed us, right, Meenakshi, which is you go to the website and you hit fundraise, then it generates a link. Then it seems like you'll have to create an ID and a password in order to sort of create and customize
You have
your
to create a
fundraiser?
password the other way too.
Oh,
Yeah,
the other way
need
as
to-
well?
both ways.
Yes, they
Ah,
need to have their own account set up
okay,
to be
okay,
able to run their fundraiser, but it's not a big deal. To be
okay.
completely honest, the hardest part, I think, is just getting the commitment from someone to say, yes, I'm willing to share a fundraiser. The technical logistics of the fundraiser is
It's
like,
not too crazy.
that's the easy part. Getting a commitment and getting then someone to actually share it,
Yeah,
in my
is
experience, is the harder part.
sure,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Preeti,
Sorry.
sorry. I just wanted to say last year was my first year and I felt exactly like you did, like unbelievably overwhelmed. And this year I'm feeling calmer. So don't, to add on to what Chris is saying, the commitment. And then I also had a really hard time getting people to write things from their own personal point of view. So this year I'm planning on, if I get a commitment, to really working with that person, like just saying, hey, just tell me what you think. And then I'm going to edit the text for them, because that is always, that's even with like those Facebook fundraisers, people never know what to write. Like, so I think they just get nervous. So that's just one thing I plan on doing this year, is helping them write that personal pitch once we have the commitment. But yeah, the tech part is the easy part, like you said. Yeah.
Preeti, I would suggest that you may want to go in and create a fundraiser and do it from your profile page instead of the admin
Mhm.
page, and you'll find
Yeah.
it's so easy. In
Yeah.
fact, once you're onto the fundraiser dashboard, all you have to do is click on socials, and you'll have if you're signed into your Facebook or Twitter account, you'll have that post ready to share on your socials as well. So it's really super easy. The platform makes it very easy for you to set up these fundraisers. And as others have mentioned, I would assume that getting actually people to do this on your organization's behalf would be the toughest part, and keeping them motivated throughout the campaign and for that actual active fundraising part would be the hard part as well. So we have a few minutes left. Any other questions or experiences that you've had last year? If you've had a great or a not very great experience with peer-to-peer fundraising, or have some tips for others this year, do
I'll
share.
just throw this out here, and this is not about my experience with IGD, it's about my experience with other sort of crowdfunding with an organization where I'm actually on the board. If possible, I found that if you have one big crowdfunding fundraiser that you participate in, it's not a terrible idea to make it a job requirement of board members. With that organization that I'm on the board of, we say, as part of the job description, one of the things you're going to do is you're going to participate in this. We don't set like an amount of money they have to raise, but we do say you have to create a fundraiser and share it. That's not what I'm doing with IGD, but I'm just throwing that out there as a possibility, because, and then once people, it kind of pushes them to do it, and then they see that, oh, this isn't so bad, and it's easier to like sort of share that with their network rather than go to them and ask them for money, sharing this existing platform. So I just wanted to throw that out there as a possibility to help encourage at least that kind of peer-to-peer fundraising, is just sort of make it as an expectation, if not requirement, of a board or an advisory council or something like that, because it's so helpful to get their active participation. It opens things up to all their networks as well. So
Thank you so much for sharing that, Chris. And we're almost to the end. And before we go, I want to make sure I share with you, we have an upcoming training next week on matching gifts. So do attend that. In addition to that, we also have seen a lot of interest from some of the organizations in holding collaborative joint events. So we have a special session next week, and you would already be having the calendar invites for that. Kirti has very kindly offered to talk about her experience with the Dallas event, which has been held for the last 2 years under TIE umbrella and has had multiple organizations, Akanksha being one of the main ones who've been organizing that. So, if you want to do collaborative events and you're looking for partners, then join that meeting next week and find yourself holding a joint collaborative event and perhaps getting IGD funding for that. Thank you so much for being here. It was a pleasure as always, and see you next week.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.